I genuinely cannot believe that I'm saying this on the internet, but I think running has completely changed my life and changed how I manage my ADHD. Now, as a fitness human, you might think that running comes really naturally and easy to me, and I'll tell you right now, it friggin' doesn't. I was that person that wasn't great at running in school, was pretty useless. I was always really nervous about doing running in like PE because I was quite slow, because I'm quite short. I've got quite short legs, so I was always like last. So I think that kind of created a bit of trauma like about running, and didn't think that I enjoyed it. But God, I'm so hooked right now. I am a running girly. It is in my veins, I've signed up to my next half marathon. If you are new to my channel and new to my world, I did my first half marathon in Paris in March, and it was one of the best days of my life, even though I was very undertrained. Very undertrained, because I had consistent niggles literally from the day that I committed to the half marathon all the way to doing the half marathon, meaning that the furthest I'd ever run was 9 kilometers. I think I managed that twice. And the last time I'd run that was in November, and I ran the half marathon in March. And between then, I was pretty much on the bike or doing like really short runs on the treadmill. So I feel like I didn't quite get my full go at the half marathon. So I'm doing another one in London this year, and I'm going to be doing my full marathon next year in Manchester. And me being the geek that I am, I was like, why am I loving this running so much? Like, where has this come from? So I wanted to do a little bit of a deep dive and kind of share the science behind why I do believe and why I now understand how amazing running is for me and my ADHD brain. And look, I do not want you to watch this video and be like, oh, I've got ADHD and I hate running, because what Lucy said, I'm going to have to force myself. Absolutely not. I don't want anyone to force themselves to do any sort of exercise they don't do. But I hope that it helps you understand, maybe if you have ADHD and you run and you get so much from it, why. But also, if you are interested, maybe you're inspired to start running or inspired to just start a form of exercise that is a bit like running, where it is immersive, because I genuinely have found that it has helped so much with many of my ADHD symptoms. So starting firstly, looking at the kind of the neurochemistry behind why I'm loving running so much. You get a massive hit from dopamine from running. ADHD brains have lower baseline levels of dopamine. And dopamine isn't just the happy chemical. Yes, running, endorphins. Endorphins is usually like the happy chemical that you get from movement. But with dopamine, you do get a little bit of a temporary boost from running for many reasons. Obviously, the movement itself. If you're out in nature, that's something that really, really helps. Like I found that especially when I'm doing my runs along the canal and the sun shining, like it's such a dopamine hit. Hitting that target that, you've gone to run 5K and it's really hard and you managed to do it, and that feels amazing, that sense of accomplishment. And so when I run, not only does it feel really good, like in the moment afterwards, that like runner's high, but I feel a lot more motivated to do other things in my life. I feel clearer. I feel a lot mentally lighter, a lot happier. So you get that boost in the session. But I find that it has like a massive crossover. Like my days are much more productive. I'm much more optimistic in my work, in my personal life, because dopamine is heavily involved in task initiation, drive, focus. So it has such a massive domino effect on the rest of my day. You've also got the release of a hormone called, I can never say this, norepinephrine, which basically is one of the sort of the fight or flight chemicals that's released during sort of hard exercise. And that's linked to sort of that feeling of alertness, attention, and low levels of that can make you feel quite, scatty, disorganized, quite flat, which if you have ADHD, you can probably resonate with having that from time to time. And because of the increase in norepinephrine, that can obviously be linked to productivity and focus, because it has that impact on alertness. So again, I often find after a run, even if I am quite like tired, I do feel quite sharp in my productivity with work, which is really, really helpful. And then of course you've got serotonin, and serotonin is the happy hormone. It plays a massive role in mood regulation, and running can increase serotonin, which is why generally with the days that I run, I feel a lot happier, a lot calmer, just a lot more of a positive egg to be around. I really, really, really do. I've spoken quite a bit about the productivity side, which, as a multi-business owner is really, really helpful for me. But another way that running can help with that is any sort of higher intensity exercise increases your heart rate, increases your blood flow, and it can increase blood flow. Well, it increases it everywhere, but the brain is one of the areas, obviously, that gets more blood. And that can help with some of the processes involved in executive functioning, like decision making and emotional regulation. So I often find that from like an executive function stance, like the days that I run, that definitely goes up. Like I feel I can make much more better decisions. I'm much more switched on. I'm much more alert on those elements as well. I found that my stress tolerance has been a lot higher since starting running as well. And what I mean by stress tolerance is it's not that stressful things don't happen in my life. It's that I feel just much more equipped to deal with it. A fair few years ago, before I started to manage my ADHD, was that person that literally had many bees over everything. Like one small thing would go wrong and it would be like everything in my world was collapsing. And I've got better, but I've just found that like since running and when I'm running, I just feel so much more resilient to things going wrong. I'm like, okay, cool, let's figure this out. This is not the end of the world. Whereas in the past, I found I was having like a lot more emotional swings about things. Two other things that have I've noticed with running and my ADHD is my sense of resilience has increased. I used to really, really stress about the smallest of things, and when things went wrong, I really didn't feel like I could deal with it. But the thing with running is every run is hard. Even a little 5K is really, 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 really hard. And every single time you go for that run and you're like, I don't know if I can get through that, and you get through that, you just build so much more self-resilience. And that for me has been absolutely game changing. Now I've done a lot of work on myself, so I would say that I'm quite a confident person. I feel like I can deal with things quite well now, but I just feel so much more in charge of my own destiny. I feel so much more able to deal with things when things go wrong. And because it's like I can do hard things, it's like putting in the reps to be like, I can do challenging things. So when something minor goes wrong, like a tech issue in work, where normally I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like, right, well, I can do hard things, so let's figure this out. And I've really noticed that from running, and I know that, and this is one of the reasons why I've committed to doing some big things, like I want to do a faster half marathon, I want to do a marathon, because when you're going out and doing long runs on your own, probably in the UK in the pissing rain and it's freezing, that's showing that you can do hard things. So it's making the little stresses in life feel much lighter and easier and really not that bad, which is really amazing. And probably the biggest thing for me with running that's helped with my ADHD is I constantly feel like my brain is pulled in different directions. Like even now speaking to you guys, my brain is starting to think, well, I need to go do this later. And it just feels like there's always 101 things going on in my brain, which it has its perks because I'm, very, very switched on, and I'm very creative, but it's exhausting. Like even quiet days in my world are exhausting, and if you have ADHD, you can probably very much resonate with that. And I don't find things that other people use to switch off work well for me. Like I can't watch TV because I'm thinking about 101 things. I can't meditate because my brain's off in a different planet. But one of the only things where I feel like my brain just stops and is focused is those forms of exercise where you have to just be present. I found it, if I think back to my childhood, I definitely noticed it in sort of dance and swimming. But now it's in running. I'm just focused on getting to the next kilometre, not falling flat on my face. And that for me, even if it's a short run of 20 minutes, it's amazing for me. Like it gives me some relief, just a bit of a pause from my busy brain thinking about every single little thing it needs to do all the time. And that is priceless. That is amazing. And for me, I think that's one of the most beautiful things that I love about running. Beyond everything else, it's just a bit of peace. And that's why I feel like I get running now. I really, really do. And I know everyone's on their own journey with it and have their own reasons. But even if I never do any competitions, even if I'm just going out on little plods here and there after, doing these big challenges, I'm going to be continuing with it probably until the day that I can't, because it gives me so much that really does help my ADHD. And And if you have a similar sort of experience or story, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to connect with more of the running community. But I just love to hear about it. So please drop a comment, come connect with me on social media. Let me know that you've had this experience, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who feels this way about it. But yeah, I just wanted to share that one with you guys. It's a bit of a different one. It's not really something, well, I guess there was a bit of science and education in there. I can't stay away from the geeky stuff, can I? But I just really wanted to share that, because I found it's been something that I didn't see happening. Like, I never saw myself getting into running. I never saw myself being a runner, but it really has completely transformed my life, and I know it will continue to do so. But over and out for today. Have a wonderful one, whatever you're doing, and I will see you on the next episode.